great year we've had. If we can get everybody back in and everybody's attention, it'd be great. We've started something new this year for all state bands. And we've ordered these bands. The student makes all state. We're just going to keep adding bars to them. So this is our first year of the official all-state band pins. And if you accumulate, even from, we started them with 7th grade this year. So it's possible for us to have many of these little bars underneath it. So I'd like to recognize our all-state band members. And please, let me get through the whole list. And then at the end of that, let's give them a round of applause. Adam Steve, Will Moyer, you'll come up, get your pen. Mike Groundhog, Jace Warner, Brad Walker, Andrew Weston, John Paul Kimbrough, Steve Sigmund, and Brad Phillips. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Each year that I am associated with the senior play and I direct the pit, I have done a senior play pit award for the student that I feel made the most contribution to the pit orchestra because that's a whole lot of dedication out of the pit members. Most of the time it's underclassmen, sometimes we have some seniors in there, and it's a volunteer organization. We ask those folks to come in and play and give up their time. And this year I just felt like we had a young man, and I believe it's only the second time in the history of the senior play that the piano player was one of our own. And I think that was a great accomplishment, something we were really proud of. So the senior play pit orchestra award goes to Mike Groundhog. Outstanding student, our band award for that group. This year we had a young lady in 9th grade band and she came in and she just worked and worked and worked and she would take her instrument, her music home every night and she'd take a tuner home every night and she got better and better and better. So in the 9th grade band I'd like to recognize Sarah Huffman. Band. I think concert festival is such a big deal. And our 9th grade band went to festival at Carowinds on Saturday. And for the parents that haven't heard, and the upperclassmen that haven't heard, our 9th grade band was the only group that got perfect scores. We got straight superiors and we got A's in every single category. And we had a young man that really made a difference for our 9th grade band this year as far as going to the concert festival. And if we hadn't had him, we could not have done it. And this young man played just about everything that we had. He played tambourine, bass drum, flute, triangle, suspended cymbal, crash cymbal, and that's David Bass. Our marching band award, I felt really special about this young lady because she worked so hard on this. She even went to Europe with me this summer, and every time I talked to her, she wasn't talking about the scenery, and she wasn't talking about Europe. She was talking about marching band and all the things we had to do when we got home. So she kept me pretty keyed up the whole summer going, wow, marching band this, marching band this, marching band this. And she was so just meticulous this year and did a great job, not only for 1 year, but for 2 years for us. So our marching band award goes to Ellen Kraft. band, the 10-12 band, because we had a young lady that she's not been with us since 6th grade. She came in later, and she switched to one of the hardest instruments there is to play, and that's the bassoon. And at the beginning, last year, if she couldn't play a solo, a lot of times I just said, leave it out. Or I said, let's rewrite it. And this year it was kind of different. I really laid the pressure on her. I said, it's your senior year. Now, are you going to have everything rewritten for you this year? Are we going to have to do this? Or are you just flat going to take that horn home and practice it and let that be your solo, let that be your part, and you own it? And this young lady did. I mean, she did a marvelous job. So our most improved musician for the high school band goes to Daniel Oakley. To get the Section of the Year award, I usually go and I talk to different band directors and different people that came in and worked with their band. I talked to Linda Morehouse this year. I talked to different people that heard us at the concert festival and the national festival about what they thought the most outstanding Section of the Year award should go to, which section. And the section that constantly, till about the last 3 weeks of school, really worked. And I don't know what happened to them the last 3 weeks of school, but they got senioritis in that whole section. And I had to keep laying on them, and I was like, man, oh man. But what a great job they did up to like the last 3 weeks. And this is unheard of when you recognize a percussion section. That's unheard of. So I want all of our percussionists to come up here and accept this. It's the first time in the history of our school. When you play a transcription and you play morning, noon, and night in Vesuvius, and it's so hard, and you ask 3 people to put their heart, their soul into their playing and their solos, and these 3 people, I mean, they came and practiced, and I would always give them glaring looks every afternoon if they weren't taking their horn with them out the door, because they kept saying, you have to own your solos. You have to own your solos. You have to do this. And we had 3 people this year that went above and beyond for concert festival, for both of our concert festivals. First of all, I want to recognize these one at a time for so much work that they did for the band. And they never put themselves above the ensemble. They always were part of the ensemble, and they always helped the ensemble. And it was so great to see these 3 take that leadership role in their playing. And one of them was recognized at the national level. But I'm going to start with our first young lady. She's not been with us for a long time, but boy, what a great contribution. That's Lindsay Leonard. This next young man, we put a tenor sax in his hand and threatened him with his life. And his big excuse was, oh, I don't play tenor. I don't think I have to play a tune. I'm like, I don't think so. And I would haunt him, you know, and I would say, I'll be your worst nightmare if you don't practice tenor sax. And we'd have tuners on his stand, and even Miss Morehouse got all over him one day and laid him out. Said something to him to the fact, he goes, but I don't play tenor sax. And she said, oh, well, I don't know how to play a tune. She goes, oh, well, you don't know that today, but you're going to know that later, right? And I was like, yeah. So we really put him on the spot, made him play a different instrument, and he did a marvelous job at both of our concert festivals. Jason Warner. man, oh wow, when you hear him play this crown sax, and you hear the solo in morning, noon, and night, and he won the national award for the outstanding soloist of the entire event, and he takes his horn home and he practices it. And I even made a bet with him. I don't know if all the parents in here know it, but I made a bet with him the weekend we had our retreat that if he got caught one time having poor posture, that he owed me a milkshake, and if not, I would buy his whole section milkshake. So for the whole weekend, I mean, it was like perfect posture. And anytime he'd let down, Lindsay would go like this, or Jason would go like this. Perfect posture. So this young man is an outstanding musician. Brad Walker. Usually, I mean, the big Susan Award will be given Friday. That's for the most outstanding senior in the whole band program, and it's been outstanding year after year. That will be done on Friday. We also have our jazz award will be presented on Friday. That's for anybody in our jazz band who's just phenomenal. Our honors band will also be given on Friday. So those are the national ones. But this year I felt like we had 3 students that I just really had to recognize for what they have done for the band. And it's the first young lady, she's just been phenomenal since 6th grade. And she has worked so hard, and anytime you ask her to do something, she does it without question. And she's there from daylight to dark, and she's designing t-shirts for us, and she's getting this for us, and I'm like, you're responsible, I'm not dealing with that, you do this, I'm not going to do that, you have to take care of this. But this is one young lady has given her heart and soul her entire career from 6th grade all the way to 12th grade, and that's Stephanie Bennett. This next young man, gosh, I can say a whole lot about this young man. He started with me in the 6th grade. And his mom came and said, I don't know if he's going to be able to do this or not. And I was like, okay, we'll see. Let's try him out. She goes, no, really, I'm serious. I don't know if he's going to be able to do this band thing or not. I said, well, let's just try him out and see how well he does. And this young man has gotten on an instrument that he has taken off on. And he was first chair in the district, and he missed the first chair in the state by about 8 points. But this is a specialty instrument, and it's very, very, very hard on this instrument statewide. And he just does a great job in all of our ensembles, and that's Andrew West. The last one for our Director's Award, I've had this young man since 6th grade also. And I think that the thing that he provides for the band program is leadership. And that is so important, is to have somebody in your band that is a leader, that is a good person, that always does what they're supposed to do, and will also make sure that the rest of the band does what they're supposed to do. And this young man has been this way since 6th grade. I mean, he is an outstanding role model, not only for the band, but also for the school, and also for our community. And I think he exemplifies that, yes, you can play football, yes, you can play sports, but you can love your instrument, you can play your part out in band. So for the leadership that he's provided since the 6th grade, John Paul Kimbrough. I feel very strongly about our senior class this year. Last year we had 24 seniors, and I didn't know what kind of band we would have this year. When you graduate 24 seniors, you really, really have to get your next senior class to step up. And we had some seniors that had to fill shoes in some crucial areas. We really asked a lot of them. We've had a great year, and every concert has been outstanding. Every concert there's been musical moments. And what I tell the band is, you don't get moments very often. Once in a while, I can remember maybe one or two in my whole career playing my instrument. But this year, we've had a musical moment on every concert. And that's because this band has given their heart and soul. They go beyond the page, they get on that stage, they believe in what they do, they have a passion for what they do, and they just play their hearts out. And last Thursday when we played American Elegy, wow, I mean, that's probably one of the biggest thrills for me ever, is to stand in front of that group. And not everybody at that table played, but it was so emotional. And you know, we played some great stuff this year. We played Vesuvius morning, noon, and night. We played a great exchange concert. We played a great Christmas concert. But when they played American Elegy, and you knew you had the audience right here, our seniors had it right here, and our band right there. I mean, the whole audience, we had it right here, and they were in that musical moment with us. That was probably the most special moment I've had in a long time, standing in front of a group of young people. And I credit a lot of that to the senior class that we've had this year. You talk about a group of leaders at that table who have stepped up and provided the leadership for the band. They are really putting pressure on next year's senior class to produce and carry this band up to the next level. So I want to recognize these seniors one at a time. I've got plaques for them for the years that they've been here in our band program. And also our band boosters have gotten each one of you a picture. And if you remember, when we had during the clinic weekend, we were talking about a senior gift. And I think last year we've done keychains with HHS Band, and we've done different things each year. And I said, you know, what would tickle these seniors more than anything is to get them a picture, that picture that we took in front of the sign. So that's what our band boosters have done, is to get each one. The concert that we gave at that time and that whole weekend. So the first young man, I'm going to say a little bit about him. Oh gosh, I've had this young man for 2 years, and I'm going to have him for a total of 4 more days. And I've been working on him ever since I got him last year. And you know, sometimes I have to feed on him a little bit, but I truly... This young man is just, he comes in with energy and enthusiasm, even though he probably doesn't have his horn with him, or he may not have his music with him, or you ask him where his music is, and it may be in his truck, it may be in his locker, it could be at home, it might be on the sidewalk. You never know. But I can honestly say over the past 2 years that I've taught this young man, he's taught me a lot. I've learned every 4-letter word there is. So I have worked on trying to improve his vocabulary while he's been with me. But talk about the energy and enthusiasm he brings to rehearsals every day. That's what I'm going to remember about Jared. Is he has great love for music. He has a great love of playing all the instruments that he plays, trombone, he plays horn, he plays tenor sax. But this young man truly loves music, and that's what I'm going to remember. So I'd like to present this to Jared Lee for 2 years. This next young man, and I'm going about years they've been in the band program. He's been in our band program for 3 years. And he got up on the concert the other night and he told a little bit about himself. And it was very hard for me to keep from tearing up, and a lot of the audience teared up, and I think his dad teared up. But when he came to me as a sophomore, he's pretty messed up. He had an attitude. And sometimes when you get them in as transfers, they have attitudes. And you know, for the first 6 months, they come in and they tell you about the band they're from, and how great their band was, and what their band played, how much better their school and their band was than anything we could possibly have at that little Hendersonville. So I'm like, okay, this guy's messed up, and he's still got great ideas. Told me what a great trombone player he was. We got auditions. I think he was like 6th or 7th chair in our band. But he was telling me, oh man, I'm just the greatest greatest, and I'm this and this. I was like, okay, attitude and arrogance. Okay, what can I do to get rid of that? So, I beat on it pretty hard. And the more I beat on him, the more he started coming around. I mean, like every afternoon he's in the office and he just wanted to talk and he wanted to do this and just kind of converse. Well, then I started having to run him out every afternoon, because he wanted to pour out some heart and soul. And the more he stayed, the better he got. And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of breaking down that attitude a little bit. Then he became an ensemble player and a team player and started believing in Hendersonville and he started believing in what we're all about. And he's made an incredible musician. And I call this young man my son because when I got him, his mom had just been killed. And I felt like, wow, this is a student that I think I can make a difference with. I think I can take this young man and touch his heart. But it's really funny, here I am trying to touch his heart, and he's touching mine. And he's got this big hand on mine just going, hey, you don't know what you're in for. But he's given me so much in the past 3 years and helped me more than I probably helped him. But this is a young man I'm extremely proud of. He's going to major in music at LSU University, Steve Sigler. Came to us from Immaculata. And when they come to us from Immaculata, we got to try to, that is that school where they dress the same every day. And this young lady, she came in and she got to wear different outfits every day. And she was pretty excited about coming to Hendersonville. But I threw this instrument in her hand. She came in on clarinet, and I'm like, oh no, I don't need a clarinet. I need a bassoon player. And we really pushed her hard on this bassoon. And every year she's gotten a little bit better and better. Like I said a while ago, she has blossomed this year on her instrument. She's done marching band and she's done concert band. But there's not a young lady that has worked any harder to get better and better and contribute more to our ensemble this year. So I'd like to recognize Danielle Everett. Lady, she came to us and she was doing one of those homeschool things. And I got her brother and he did that same thing too, except I got him in high school. And when they homeschool and they're with mom and dad all the time, when you get them, it's a little bit different. Because, they're not used to being with a group of people. They've been, well, with the Krauses, you're with a group. They come in and they're part of the big ensemble. And they're coming in and they have to, sometimes you have to break them in with this social event. Band is social and band is this and band is this. And this young lady came to me and said, I played the flute. I said, you play anything else? I played the flute. You play anything else? You probably don't remember this, Ellen. I played the flute. Okay, you played the flute, right? And she just got better and better, and she marched when she was an 8th grader, and she came up and she became our drum major her junior and senior year, and she was just phenomenal as a drum major. But that's not what I'm going to remember for. She was the finest piccolo player. And if you know anything about a piccolo, it is one of the hardest instruments to play. And this young lady for the past 2 years has given her heart and soul to our concert band and our marching band. So I'd like to present this to Ellen Kraus. I've had for 7 years. I'll say that for loud. This young man, Mr. Groundhog, the whole time I had him in middle school, I was going to kick him out because he didn't come to one band concert. I was like, man, I don't need this kid. He's in school every day, but every Thursday we'd have a band concert. There was no Michael Groundhog. And so I was just like, this is somebody you don't really need. I kept saying, Mike, what's the deal? Do you really like this music stuff? Yeah, I love it. I love it. I really love it. And I found out little by little this young man does love music. He has a passion for music. He's an incredible piano player. He's an incredible incredible bass clarinet player who also, he was in our state honors band, he was in our all-district band, and he is such a phenomenal musician. And I found out year after year, gosh, I think he would walk to school to be in the band. If I let him, he'd probably stay in the band room from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock and skip every other class if he had that opportunity. But this man truly loves to play an instrument. And that's what I'm going to remember about Mike, is he loves to play euphonium, he loves to play bass clarinet, he loves to play piano. And every time he has a spare minute, he's in the band room banging on something, or he's got somebody's horn in his hand blowing it, or he's picking up somebody else's instrument going, I'm going to learn this one next. So that's what I remember about Mike Crime. I'll remember a lot about Megan. She is never happy with the lunch that I picked for the Miss Johnson, can we not eat this lunch? Can we not eat this lunch? But Megan's the kind of student that Megan has always been an ensemble player. And it didn't matter if you need Megan on third, or you wanted her on second, or you wanted her on first, or you wanted her to play whole notes, or you wanted her to play 16th notes. Megan has always done what is the most useful to the band. And Megan has never put herself above the band, ever. I can't remember one rehearsal her whole high school career where she put herself above the ensemble. She's always been a player that's dependable and reliable, has always been in every single, our rehearsals, our concerts. I mean, she's gone out of her way to be there and do whatever needed to be done. And if that meant playing whole notes, that's fine. If that meant playing somebody else's part, that's fine too. So, I mean, Megan is what you really, really need in a musician, somebody who will do whatever it takes to make the band sound great. So that's what I remember about Megan, a wonderful, wonderful musician who does not put herself above the ensemble. She's part of the ensemble. So for 7 great years, Megan. And she did a great job in middle school. And then she got in high school and she fell in love. You know, one day she was in love. The next day she was mad at it. The next day she's in love again. So when I had both of them in the same band, you know, if they were having a fight, we had to be sure to put them on 2 different buses. If they weren't having a fight, then we had to double up all the chaperones. So, you know, when her significant other went to Western Carolina, I was like, oh yeah, I've got Ola all to myself. And let me tell you, I told Ola this in the fall. She has played the best trumpet of her entire life this year. And I don't think that has anything to do with that. But you talk about a dependable young lady, and she will do, she's another one of those players that she'll do whatever needs to be done. And if I say, I need you guys to play third, I need you to sit between that one and pop them upside the head if they play a wrong note, she'll do that. If I need to rewrite something, she'll do that. If I need her to play a different instrument, or go play flute on this, or go do this. And she's not one that's ever had any kind of attitude. She's one, her attitude has been, I'll do whatever I need to do to make this band sound phenomenal. And she has been a great asset to our band. So Ola, come and get back. Oh, Stephanie Bennett. Stephanie. Well, you all know now, Stephanie's dad over here and I were next door neighbors. He's much older than I am. But when I was growing up, I never thought that I would be teaching your child. And then when she came in that first day of band and she told me she wanted to play as a little 6th grader drums, I thought, yeah, get real. This little bitty girl's coming in here wants to play the drums. She wants to learn the drum set and the drums. I'm like, I don't think so. And she just got better and better, and she studied, and she took lessons. She went to Europe last year, and she designed shirts for the band. And she's another student. I think that's what's so outstanding about this group right here. They never put themselves above the ensemble. They always did what had to be done, no matter what part it was. They didn't all have to be in the limelight. And this young lady in our jazz band, our marching band, our concert band, she has always done what needed to be done. And if there's anybody that ever got fussed at, I would always blame Stephanie. What do you mean the drummers don't have this? What do you mean the drummers aren't set up? What do you mean the drummers don't have their music? She would get, I know it's my fault. And I would always say to Stephanie, read my mind. You've had me since the 6th grade. I know I've had you since the 6th grade. I know I should have read my mind. So Stephanie's done a phenomenal job the past 7 years. So I'd like to recognize Stephanie Bennett. Oh, this young man. Oh. I tell you what, this is another one I want to kick out. This is Mr. Pearson we're talking about. This was in the 7th and 8th grade. And he was such a pain. I would go up to our principal every day. I go, you got to take him out. You got to take it. It's near him. It's near him. I'm leaving. I'm out the door. And the principal would go, oh, I see potential in that young man. I was like, I see a pain in that young man. And he's having these growing pains. I need to tell you this. And I go, oh, in middle school, he's killing me. He's killing me. But, you know, I kept thinking, you know, he's got some great talent. But even though he was going through that middle school syndrome, but he started straightening out his 8th grade year. He just got better and better and better and better. And his talent on the percussion, on the set, on the congas, he's got great hands, and he's got so much ability, and he plays so much. He's a great musician. So I know this is going to your head, and I still remember your middle school days when you drove me nuts. But this young man, he matured so much his 8th grade year, and he made a real turnaround in his music. And he's done a great job with the band today. He did a great job with the senior play, and he's just an outstanding young man. He provides great leadership with the band, and he really provides some great leadership for our 9th grade band, helping them this year, and also with our top band. So, Mr. Luther Pearson. This next young lady, I kind of went to school with her mother, but her mother was ahead of me. Actually, I never told you this, Mom. I was sort of scared of you. In middle school, actually at junior high, she was, you know, she was pretty buff, and I was, you know, about my same size. I was like, so when I found out I had a daughter in 6th grade, I was like, oh, I remember your mother. But what a great young lady. And Tristan, the things I remember about Tristan is she is, we were on the field one day. And I don't know if she told you this, but right in the middle of our rehearsal in marching band, she goes, I'm black. And I'm like, I'm white. Get in line. So, you know, I will never forget that. I was like, what's the deal? You're black, I'm white. Get back in line. So after that episode, we've always kind of kidded each other on that, but Tristan went through her Whitney hairdo. So when Whitney Houston was popular there for a while, her freshman and sophomore years, Tristan will always come in with her Whitney hairdo. So I said, oh, Whitney, you been taking that girl. She's just like, I'll be taking the deck. But that's not what I remember you for. And anytime, you know, I have to preach to the band occasionally. They get attitudes and they don't work. And anytime I preach, Tristan preaches. So I'll go into my preach mode, and then Tristan, I tell you people what, you make it do in contest, I will kick your ideas. So I'm going to remember the energy and enthusiasm. Tristan always backed me up when I was having prayer with the band. She also had prayer with them. So 7 great years, Tristan means. Oh, this next young lady. Wow, she's had a pretty phenomenal year in the band. She had a grandmother who also played melodies, and her mom was also a musician. And this young lady has passed them all. But I used to teach with her grandmother, and her grandmother would always call me in and go, I don't know how to count this. Help me out, I don't know how to count this. So when I got Marina, I was like, are you like your grandmother? And she was like, I'm just like her, I'm just like her. And I was like, oh, because she wasn't just like her either. She was a pretty phenomenal player. This year we did Vesuvius, and Marina really, really excelled in that piece of music. And I don't know of anybody that loved their part more than Marina. I mean, she would roll that instrument out and practice it, and roll it back, and roll it in, and roll it back. And she's another senior that it didn't matter whether she was playing a tambourine and Dance with the Tumblers, or she was playing a roll on the triangle, or she was playing crash cymbals on the march, or she was playing marimba. She was one of those seniors in the percussion section. It didn't matter what instrument it was. It added color, and it was part of the song, and it was part of the total ensemble. Then she could stand there with a triangle and do this. And even if she played 2 times one piece of music, it didn't matter, because she knew her part was so vital, and the contribution she was making to the band was so vital. So that's what I remember about Marina. It didn't matter what, where, how, what we put her on, and what we asked her to do. She always had a cheerful smile and said, yes, ma'am, I'll do it. And did a great, great job. So Marina's right now. Woo! Oh, Mr. Weston, Mr. Weston. Oh. Well, you know, I found out some dirt on Mr. Weston. Yeah, I did. Yeah, but I won't bring that up, but I did find out some dirt on him. Tell me. Well, it was really funny. I heard, you know, at the lunch table how all the guys hang out together and they talk. Well, when we had our guests coming up from Baton Rouge, I found out later that all these guys were talking about our guests. And I even heard that John Paul Kimbrough said, boy, I'd even marry Miss Woodhouse. And then I started, after I heard these stories, and she came up this year, I started watching these guys and Adam and Dave, all our seniors, and they were kind of going, you know, I never looked at her in that way, but I was, you know, oh, Miss Morehouse, hey, you know, Luther had his picture made with her. John Paul got a hug from her and said he'd never take another bath. And Adam Weston said, yeah, he'd give up more than his weekend to do that. The thing is, see, you guys didn't know I knew all this dirt on it.
You had some comments too.
Oh, no doubt.
I didn't know her.
Find these things out. But with Adam, he's done a phenomenal job on the horn. I think this young man has found his element playing the French horn. And last year we had a pretty good horn section, but this year we had a phenomenal horn section. And I contributed 90% of that is to the leadership from Adam. You could give him something and he'd rewrite the part, take his script in the back room. He always had a cheerful smile doing it. He would always add the energy to his section. Come on, fellas, you got to do it. Come on now. Go, girls, we got to do this. But he would always psych the troops up. So we had a really phenomenal horn section this year. So that's what I'm going to remember Adam for, is giving his heart and soul. And he would come up to me after these musical moments. He'd go, I don't know about you, but that was great. So this is one young man that really enjoyed this year in more than one way. So we've got one kind of second time around senior, and I did his plaque last year, but I am going to give him a picture this year because it's not everybody that would come back and do their senior year again and try to make a real contribution. And this young man has made a contribution to our band program for the past 2 years, and we certainly hope that you do graduate this year and keep playing because you've done 5 great years for us. So, Mike, we're great. Right here. Wow, you know, I had her brother first, and he wrote me in, and then I got her. And there's never a dull moment when you teach Andy Mislowski. And she was the same way in 6th grade that she is in 12th grade. I mean, bing, 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 bing. And, you know, with Andy, and she was in 9th grade band this year, and the high school band, and marching band, there's never a dull moment. She brings so much of herself to all those bands. And it didn't matter if it was 9th grade band, and whether we were playing a chorale, or we were playing grade 4 music, or we were doing this. Yes, I love it, you know, and it was grade 4, and I was like, Andy, do you like that? Oh, I love it, music. It doesn't matter what the level is, or what instrument I'm playing. And she was the same way in marching band. You know, she'd take that flag, oh, yes, I love it. And there was one day that I won't forget ever. She came in marching band, we were out on Deeds Field, and she had these big sloppy tears just going down her face. I'm not going to tell the whole thing, but it was one of those days, and she was not her usual stellar bouncing around self. And that energy and enthusiasm wasn't there. So I put my arm around her, and we started going backfield, and we started talking about college and what college was right for her. And I just kept saying, you know, Andy, you're going to find the right place for you because you're too special not to find the right place. So those tears kind of dried up, and then she started bouncing again. It's only saw her that way for once or twice, maybe, a couple of times. But the thing I remember about Andy is the energy. I mean, it doesn't matter if we get back on the trip at midnight. Hello! Hello, Andy. You know, or when you first wake up at the Sugar Bowl, you walk down the hall. Hello, Mr. Hello, Andy. But, I mean, it's every day she comes in, and what she brings to our rehearsals is her energy and her enthusiasm and her love of what we're doing. And like I said, it doesn't matter if it's the flag, or the alto sax, or the clarinet, or whatever she's asked to do. She has the energy and enthusiasm, which that's what I'm going to think about Andy. So I'd like to have it now, Andy Mislowski. Oh, this last senior. Oh, I have so many stories on this. You know, he was that little bitty 6th grader, and he wanted to play the trombone, and at that time he wasn't really big, and I was like, you sure you want to play trombone? Listen, man, I'll play trombone. You sure you want to be a trombone player? Listen, man, I'll be a trombone player. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, he just got better and better, and then when he came to high school, he wanted to go to the bass trombone. So I gave him Mr. Garvin's old bass trombone. Like, John Paul, you're really going to have to practice this thing. You're really going to have to get after it. Yes, ma'am. I'll do it. I'll do it. And I put John Paul on the bottom, and I think he played the third part the whole time because it takes this massive amount of a person to just flat blow the bell off of the horn. I mean, and this young man has done it. But, you know, there's a lot of things I'm going to remember about John Paul. John Paul started trying out for All-State Band in the 7th grade. He didn't make it. He didn't make it in the 8th grade. John Paul, you got to learn those scales. Yes, ma'am. He didn't make it in 9th grade. We kept trying. Didn't make it in 10th grade. But he kept trying. 11th grade, came really close. I said, John Paul, this is your senior year. I don't care what you got to do. You've got to make All-State Band. You've just got to. I mean, here is somebody who has tried from the 7th grade, and he never gave up. He'd bring me that $10 every year. I was like, try it. I'm like, yeah, my kind of person. So this year, I was like, make it your goal. You've got to make All-State Band. You've got to make it. So he did. I mean, he came in during lunch and he practiced those scales. He'd go to ball practice. He'd come back in after ball practice and he'd practice his scales. Sometimes he'd be in there in the morning practicing those scales. He'd be working on that solo, and he just went after it this year. And I was so proud, I think, of all of our students that made All-State Band. I was the most proud of John Paul because he had started something in the 7th grade and he never gave up. He just kept going at it and going at it and going at it, never got discouraged, never gave up. So his last year he made All-State Band. He went up there and he played under the band director from the University of Yukon. And I'm like, John Paul, you having a great time? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And to be in that kind of an ensemble and that band made music. And the person that came off the stage after the concert, that came up to me first and gave me a hug, was John Paul. Thank you for helping me get here. Thank you for pushing me to get here. I had the most musical weekend I could ever remember. So, I mean, he's that way in all aspects. I mean, with everything in high school. But with his music, what I'm going to remember is how much he absolutely loves to play. And I don't know if we have anybody that loves to play their instrument like John Paul. Give it. So I'd like to recognize John Paul. It's been a great year, just to wrap it up, and tell the seniors, wow. I mean, what you have given to me is much more than I have given to you. And I say that, yeah, in all honesty, because last year, about this time, I did not know whether I wanted to continue in teaching or not. And I never shared this with anybody, but I went through a couple of years where I didn't think this was what I wanted to do anymore. So I kept thinking, well, maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to do this. The average life of a band director in this profession is 6 years. And I've passed 6 years, and I think when you get to a stage in your career, you question whether that's what you want to do from now on or not. And I had a really, trying time the past couple of years of what I really wanted to do. And last year was a pretty rough year. I wasn't real sure that this was the thing for me to continue in. But this year, I've had such a great year with everybody in this room. The parents have been great, the students have been great, and it kind of renewed my faith in why I do what I do, why I come to school every day, why I stand on that podium, why I want you to do this, what I want you to do this, because the students worked so hard this year, and you brought back that energy to me in my teaching. Personally, this has been one of my greatest years that I've ever had teaching and enjoying students and making music with students. Last year I had a good time, but this year was phenomenal. And I think our senior class was just so energetic about what we were doing. Our junior class, our freshman class, our 9th graders, and I told the 9th graders, God, what a gas it's been to teach the 9th grade band. How many directors can come in and say they've had a great time teaching their 9th grade band? Well, I have. I've enjoyed every day and every minute. So that's what, I thank you, everybody in here, for the great year you've given me and how much you've given me this year and how much you've re-energized me in why I do what I do and why I love what I do and I love what you do with me. So thank you. It's been a phenomenal year. Great.
We're not quite done yet.
Take your check and everybody pay individually on your way out. That's what he said.
Like we said, like we said the other night, there's not really a way you can thank Michelle for all the wonderful things she does. But we've got a few minor little things that we'd like to give to Michelle to show our appreciation.
Are these embarrassing things?
They are to me. First we'd like just to give her this card, and every one of us in your class who signed it. And we wanted to give this to her. We've all wrote her a little note. This is just one little thing.
Thank you.
And we've also given her something we thought she could use a little more. It would do good for somebody of her stature to have something like this. And so we decided to build her a new podium. We've all signed it so you can never forget our wonderful faces.
I love the height, too.
We've got a couple more little things.
So you can throw away your hammer now for the old one.
You all didn't know that, did you, parents? My other one's falling apart, and I take the hammer every once in a while and bang it again. Great.
Okay. We went to the Sugar Bowl last year, and we got a picture, so my mom got it and framed it.
Oh, wow.
And we've still pondered for a few things, and I don't think we could ever give her quite enough to give her back what she's given us. But we came up with something a little special that I don't think anybody else has ever come up with before. I wish I could take the credit for it, but I can't. But we decided to give Miss Shelton the Summa Cum Laude Award, the most outstanding band director anywhere ever, to Miss Fran Shelton. Conferred with the highest esteem, love, and gratitude from the Nashville High School bands and band boosters.
Yes, she is.
Would also like to thank the band boosters, the parents, and all the underclassmen, because it'll be your turn to get up here pretty soon, and you'll want to make this night last as long as any night you've ever had. So take advantage of every second you have with Miss Shelton, and of every second you have in high school, and be thankful for the wonderful people you have around you who put you in the place you are. Thank you.